Good day and welcome back to Royal News Daily, where royal calendars are sacred, absences are suspicious, and one empty chair can cause a national debate. Today's story proves that in royal life, sometimes what does not happen makes more noise than what does. Because when King Frederik failed to appear at a major public event, the Danish press did not just notice. They pounced. Before we break down this royal no-show, do subscribe to Royal News Daily and click the notifications bell icon. Because in the world of royalty, even silence makes headlines. Now, let us set the stage. Denmark is a country that values consistency, responsibility, and showing up. The monarchy is no exception. So when King Frederik missed a high-profile national engagement, eyebrows rose faster than palace gates. No dramatic announcement. No immediate explanation. Just absence. And in royal terms, absence is never neutral. Think of it like a captain missing the first game of the season. You may have a reason, but the crowd will still ask questions. Is everything all right? Is leadership already slipping? Or is something else brewing behind the palace walls? The Danish media wasted no time. Commentators questioned priorities. Headlines hinted at distraction. Critics suggested the king was still adjusting to the weight of the crown, while supporters urged patience, reminding everyone that Frederik had only recently stepped into the role. But patience, as history shows, is not the media's strongest virtue. Transition here, because this is where context matters. This missed appearance did not happen in a vacuum. It followed closely after the Madrid controversy and ongoing scrutiny of the royal household. In other words, the monarchy was already under a microscope. When you're already being watched, every move, or lack of one, feels amplified. The palace later clarified that the king had prior commitments and that royal duties were still being fulfilled behind the scenes. A reasonable explanation. Logical, sensible, and yet it did not fully quiet the noise. Because modern monarchy is as much about optics as it is about obligation. Let's be honest, a king does not just perform duties. He symbolizes stability, presence, reliability. And when that presence falters, even briefly, people start filling in the blanks with speculation. Is he overwhelmed? Is he delegating too much too soon? Or is this simply the reality of a modern monarch balancing tradition with personal limits? Now enter Queen Mary, once again, the monarchy's quiet stabilizer. Her continued appearances, composed demeanor, and unwavering schedule acted like a counterweight. Where the king was absent, the queen was visible. And while that reassured many, it also reignited a familiar narrative. Is the queen carrying more of the public-facing burden? Transition again, because this moment revealed something deeper. Denmark's monarchy is evolving. The days of rigid, constant appearances are giving way to a more human approach. Rest, balance, and private obligations are increasingly acknowledged. But the public has not fully adjusted to that shift, especially when the crown has only just changed heads. Supporters argued that the criticism was unfair. That King Frederik is not a machine. That leadership is not measured by attendance alone. Critics countered that symbolism is the job. When you wear the crown, your diary is not entirely your own. And here is the twist. This debate may actually work in the king's favor in the long run. Why? Because it forces an early conversation about expectations. Frederik is learning in real time how unforgiving the role can be. One missed event now is a lesson that could shape a more disciplined, transparent reign later. Think of this as a test flight. A slight turbulence early on, but valuable data gathered. The monarchy survived. The institution remained intact. But the message was clear. Every step counts. Every absence speaks. So what does this tell us about King Frederik's reign so far? It is still finding its rhythm. Still negotiating the balance between duty and humanity. Still learning that the crown magnifies everything, even a scheduling change. In the end, the event was missed. The criticism flared. And then, as always, the news cycle moved on. But for the king, the lesson likely lingered. Because in Denmark, a monarch is not just expected to lead. He is expected to be seen leading. Thank you for watching Royal News Daily.